All right, let's jump right in. We're going to explore this really fascinating idea. What if there's a hidden pattern, a kind of code, woven into the very fabric of reality? And believe it or not, it all comes down to one single mysterious number. So, this is it, 237. Now, according to the source material we're looking at, this is way more than just some random number. Think of it like a cipher, a key that could unlock a whole new way of understanding creation itself. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if everything, the universe, ancient scriptures, even your own life, what if it all follows a kind of divine mathematical blueprint? That's the huge question we're diving into today. We're going to try and decode this thing together.
Okay, so first things first, let's break down the basic idea here. We're exploring this claim of a hidden pattern, one that supposedly connects sacred texts with the world all around us.
So the core concept really is that reality isn't just a bunch of random chaos. Not at all. The idea is that it's all built on a deliberate mathematical structure. It's like there's a divine algorithm running in the background, shaping everything we see and feel. All right, so how does a code like this even begin? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. It doesn't start with the number one, like you might expect. Nope. It actually starts with the silence, the stillness that exists before you even start counting. And to get this idea across, the source uses this absolutely beautiful piece of poetry. It introduces zero not as an empty void, but as this container of pure potential, a kind of silence that holds the promise of everything that's still to come. And this isn't just poetry for poetry's sake. It's grounded in a really tangible concept from the Quran, something called the silent wow. Now, this is a letter that's written down, but you don't actually say it out loud. It's a perfect parallel for the number zero, right? It's there, it's a foundation, but it doesn't change the value of whatever comes next. It's described as a kind of silent, uncounted mercy. So you see how this builds? It's a progression from silence into actual structure. Out of that zero, you get the first thing, the point, number one, the very first mark of existence. Then that point gets reflected, and suddenly you have the pair, number two. That's duality, relationship. Then from that pair, you get the community, number three. That's the first stable group. It's the moment you and I becomes an us. And finally, you have this structure, number four, which gives you the solid foundation, the pillars to build everything else on. Okay, so we've got the building blocks. Now for the really cool part. How do they all come together? This is where we get to the central equation of the whole cipher. So the source breaks the cipher 237 down into its prime components. You've got the number 2, which stands for duality. Then there's 3, representing emergence and coming together. And finally 7, which symbolizes completion. So those are the digits, 2, 3, and 7. But check this out. Before we even see how to use those numbers, the source points out that when you multiply them, 2 times 3 times 7, you get 42. And that number, 42, is said to symbolize the entire journey of creation. And here's where it gets wild. The source finds this incredible connection for the number 42 right inside the Quran. Okay, so you have chapter 67, which is called The Sovereignty. It's all about God's dominion. And in that chapter, verse 25 asks about the promise of the end times. Now, get this. If you take the chapter number, 67, and subtract the verse number, 25, what do you get? Exactly 42. That is just a stunning link, right? The implication here is that the biggest question you can ask about creation's purpose, about its final destination, is mathematically encoded into the very address of the verse asking the question. The code for the journey, 42, is literally embedded in the question about the journey's end. So we've been talking about this really big cosmic theory, but let's bring it back down to Earth. What does any of this actually mean for you and me in our day-to-day lives? Well, this is where the cipher goes from being just an idea to something you can actually use. And for me, this is the most important question of all. How do we take this stuff off the page, out of the realm of theory, and make it a real, tangible part of our lives? You know, what's the so what? Why does this matter? Okay, so the source suggests this really simple but powerful mindfulness practice. It's called the 2-3-7 breath. It goes like this. When you breathe in, you think of the number 2. You acknowledge the dualities in your life, the challenges, the push and pull. Then, as you breathe out, you focus on the number 3. You're looking for that third way, the path of wisdom, of reconciliation. And then in that brief moment you hold your breath, you aspire to the number 7, that feeling of completeness, of spiritual connection. And when you do that, you see, it stops being about numbers. It's not just numerology anymore. It becomes a practical framework. By applying this 2-3-7 pattern to something as simple as your breath, the cipher turns into a lens for seeing the world differently and a tool for navigating your own inner life with more intention.
So I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought from the source. The idea that you are a walking, breathing, living embodiment of this code. That your life, with all of its ups and downs, its struggles and its love, is the ultimate equation. So the challenge, really, isn't just to understand the cipher, it's to live it.